I do worry about the sea level rising a little bit, you know? I live on the ocean. I live right on the beach. I see the beach like doing its thing.
It's a concern. It needs to be addressed, and there's a lot more work that needs to be done. But we're not seeing a lack of flow of capital to South Florida as a result of sea level rise as of yet.
You know, we have questions about sea level rise because the media talks about that a lot. But I can honestly say that no one has told me that they have not purchased here because of sea level rise.
Sea level rise is something that I'm actually dealing with right now personally. I happen to live in a residential neighborhood where they're trying to raise the streets.
Rising sea levels are a real issue confronting South Florida and other coastal cities. However, Americans have a short memory, and those memories don't go from generation to generation. So right now it's a younger generation that's focusing on rising sea level. If sea levels don't rise and wipe out Miami Beach, it'll be an afterthought.
We're building in terms of the worst possible tsunamis. We're safe for that. So, we take all kinds of precautions in terms of floodgates, in terms of flood barriers.
People still want those views. They want to be in areas where they can see the water, and I think that will continue to drive sales.
We are one of, we do take sea level, climate change and so forth, and sea level rising, into consideration when we're developing. I have to say, the city of Miami has done a very good job taking a proactive approach and thinking about sea level rise and the impact, being on the ocean.
Regarding sea level rise, I just sold a house to an interesting young tech guy, and he had an opportunity to do some homework on the subject. And what he revealed to me was that he felt that there's a lot being done to counter the sea level rise and a lot of technology that's out there. But of course, we don't hear that in the media.
5 years ago, 10 years ago, you never heard about sea level rise. Today, you're starting to hear about it, but it's still distant and it's still in the future. I don't think it's affecting anybody today, but I think as we move on in the next 5 or 10 years, we're going to need to address it, and I think we are starting to.
What is happening is the premium between waterfront properties and non-waterfront properties is narrowing, which is a good thing for urban infill of South Florida, especially Miami. I think there's a concern, and I think people are more reluctant to buy homes, single-family homes that are waterfront, and they're thinking twice about the condos on the waterfront.
When I first moved here in 1997, we always were dealing with flooded streets. Did it get a little bit worse? Yes, a little bit, but nothing I don't think for us to panic over. If we're going under, so is New York and the rest of the East Coast, in my opinion.
I would like to say that it doesn't come up. It does come up in conversation, but I think that people are seeing that the pleasure of having something here in the city is kind of shadowing that concern at the moment. But I think everybody's going to be taking measure. We need to.